Welcome, everyone, to our latest market update. Every week, I go over the latest headline articles of the week that may impact the Bay Area real estate market. My name is Spencer Sue, and this year alone, we have helped over 30 plus families with their moves. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in the Bay Area real estate market, you got to reach out to us. I'm going to leave my contact details below on this banner, and we're going to be talking about what is the biggest headline articles of the week in terms of how can this impact the market. The biggest thing is, once again, it's on everyone's radar. Every analyst in the world is tracking how will Nvidia perform every single quarter. And once again, Nvidia continues to defy gravity, and it just shows you how big the demand is for their AI chips. Nvidia shares closed at record high after forecast signals unwavering demand for AI chips. So for all of you that think this is a boom and bust kind of situation, it's clearly still extremely hot, and they're making a ton of money. They announced recently a 10-for-1 stock split on Wednesday. I think they also have a dividend. For the first time ever, they crossed over $1,000 per share. First quarter revenue came in higher than expected at $26 billion, right? And the demand is not wavering, issuing even stronger guidance. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible in terms of the amount of growth that they continue to have. And most of their growth continues to be in the data center side of things. And the reason why this is so important is, one, obviously, if you work at Nvidia, congratulations again. Your stock just popped up another 10%. A whole lot more buying power for you all. But at the same time, in my opinion, this is what's going to continue to fuel why we still see these big stock gain growths, right? If you think about it, the interest rates are kind of the same. They remain the same levels in the last 18 months. But as long as Nvidia continues to blow out quarters and continue to, even with these high expectations that a lot of people have for them, continue to do so well, the general stock market does well. So you can see the general stock market is also, as you can see, at all-time record highs, higher than what we had previously seen at the end of 2021. So you can see like the gains. There has been a little bit a drop earlier throughout the last few months, but you can see for the most part, it's more than recovered and is not only broaching new records. And so I think there's a lot of things that you can keep tracking to see if anything changes. One is the earning reports for those that are spending a lot of the money on these Nvidia chips and these processors. You can see if they're really making much of a dent. But in general, most of the hyperscalers and most of the big tech companies are still doing very, very well. So as long as they're not like going too crazy on the expense side and they're not able to find much profits generated from this boom is still going to be happening for at least for some time. Now, the interesting part is you can see this. Nvidia has still done well. Stock market all-time record high. But if you think about the Bay Area real estate market, people buying and selling, there's still a little bit of hesitancy. Like there's this stigma that some people keep having. I want to keep waiting for the interest rates to drop. Like, what do you think will happen if things can remain kind of steady and interest rates drop? Like, it's just going to unload a huge new flow of buyers. Right? But the reality is, why have prices risen? Why have there been a lot more activity? Why has there also been a lot more sellers selling their home? It's because home prices have risen. Home prices have done very well. And so people are able to say, look, I'm ready to then leave my current home, move on to my next place, either upgrade to a place, downsize, whatever it may be, and then move on. Instead of the other alternative, which is some people could have just rented it out for a year and then wait and see. And so that's why you see right now you have a large number of new listings. You have a large number of buyers still actively looking. But make no mistake, you also have a lot of people that are on the fence kind of waiting for something to happen. And so instead of individuals like that are doing that way, whatever their rates are, it's all a math equation. Like just because it drops to this hypothetical number under 6% from today, which is at, let's say, 6.5 or 6.75, that's only a purchasing power benefit of like 7%. It's not that drastic to be able to be like, look, I'm going to be able to live in this neighbor or that. Each neighbor itself could be 10 to 15% off as you progress through the neighborhoods by direction. And so focus on what you can control today. Maybe you divest from some of these big gains that you see. Maybe you put a sizable amount down so you can have a smaller loan amount. That is exactly what people are doing. And this is exactly why you see the activity, what you're seeing. So this week, I really just want to highlight mostly on the stock market side. The news week is kind of slower just because it's upcoming the long weekend. There's going to be less listings typically at this time just because it's a long weekend. But most of it is still be people have been waiting on how will Nvidia perform. They continue to do very well. Stock market in general has done very well, and this will certainly continue to impact the local Bay Area real estate market. Now, the interesting part, and we'll see if things go up, they may change. The home prices in general have not kept rising, though. Home prices in general have been a lot more stabilized. So if you really compare it to homes that are impending right now or homes that transacted last month, it is flatter for now. Now, will things change again if the stock market keeps ripping and roaring? Maybe. But for now, it's still pretty consistent and pretty much the same. The last thing I want to point out is because Nvidia has so much money, this company decides to just straight up buy their headquarters. Most companies tend to lease out their space, their office space. They can build this brand new office building, but they tend to still just lease out the space. They don't own the land. But because they're so wealthy, and quite frankly, as they start paying out dividends and quite frankly, they make so much money, at this point, they're like, I just make so much money that I'm just going to start solidifying a presence. I can buy these different things. They can't really buy companies, so they might as well just buy their own land, especially their corporate hubs, which is already at. So you can see the company also opened 2 newer buildings, a Star Trek inspired Endeavor and Voyager, which it already owns. Now it just keeps gobbling up the other properties. But you can see this. Nvidia now joins the likes of, there's a lot of other big companies, big tech companies that have been doing the same. They've been gobbling up office space, Meta, Google, Apple, for a variety of reasons. One, the reality is these companies have so much money, they just don't know what to do with it. That's generally a part of it. Like, you're just so profitable, have so much money, number one. Number two, the last thing they would want is that prime space eventually going up for lease, and then others may try to take over. You saw the long battle over time in especially like places like Sunnyvale, right? Sunnyvale was always that intersection hub between at that previous time of Alphabet and Google at Mountain View, and you had a Cupertino with Apple. And so both of them had merged. That's why you see a lot of offices from Apple, from Google in Sunnyvale for a while. Now they're not expanding nearly the same, but that's what they did previously. And Nvidia, like they're an extremely lean company for the amount of money that they have, that they generate. They're one of the most profitable companies, like pretty much of all time, especially for the size. Like they only have like 28,000 employees for being a how big is this company now? What's their market cap at this time? So their market cap is $2.55 trillion. For the size that they're at, all the big companies are significantly bigger than what Nvidia has. So they have always been this, now potentially this almost case study as to how a flatter org and how a very focused company can continue to do so well. Well, that's what I want to bring up this time. I'm going to be out of town, so I have no market updates for the next 2 weeks. I'll try to do a market report. Usually what I do is the first day of the month so that you can see how did May perform relative to the last few months. Is it higher? Is it lower? Remember, May numbers are transactions that have all occurred either the beginning of May or throughout April. So you'll be really interested to see that because that will shape how the summer months look. But of course, if you want to go over a game plan, let's set up a time to chat. Give me a call or text, 408-547-4590. See you in a few weeks. Bye now.